What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? Noah Gray here, tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Josh's channel and check out showmefootball.com for more.
What is up, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome back to another video on my channel. My name is Josh Fan of showmefootball.com and arrowheadaddict.com, covering your Kansas City Chiefs. And the Kansas City Chiefs just made what I consider to be the perfect free agent signing. I'll tell you why exactly that is right after this. Ladies and gentlemen of the Chiefs Kingdom, your Kansas City Chiefs made a big free agent signing this past Tuesday, getting active once again on the second day of NFL free agency when they signed free agent Los Angeles Chargers cornerback Kristian Fulton to a 2-year, $20 million deal with $15 million guaranteed. That's according to Ian Rappaport of NFL Network. And folks, let me tell you, when the Kansas City Chiefs made this move, I was ecstatic because this was someone that I've kind of wanted the Chiefs to pick up over the last couple of years. Just a solid depth piece, veteran cornerback that can give you quality snaps. We saw how the Chiefs defense suffered this past season when they didn't add a guy like that in the offseason, when Jalen Watson got hurt, and then they were forced to depend on Najee Johnson and Joshua Williams. That just really didn't go all that well. But this is someone that I've wanted to see the Chiefs pick up for the past couple of years. For whatever reason, the timing just didn't work out or whatever it was, and the Chiefs didn't sign him. But now the timing's right, and the Chiefs bring him in on a 2-year, $20 million deal. Again, $15 million guaranteed over those 2 years. And it's kind of funny because I put out a tweet maybe 2 hours before the Chiefs signed Kristian Fulton, saying that if Brett Veach rounded out this free agent class with a pass rusher like Azeez Ojulari, Kristian Fulton, and a defensive tackle, I'd do a backflip. Like, I'd consider that the perfect way to round out this free agency. And then you go into the draft really without any major holes in this roster. So that way you can just draft best player available at every single pick. And then you can do basically whatever you want. And the Kansas City Chiefs then signed Kristian Fulton a couple hours later. And I'm like, well, there's one. You can check one of them off the list. I really love this signing, and I love it for multiple reasons. First of all, Kristian Fulton's a good player, man. Like, I like him a lot. I cut out his PFF profile to show you guys some of the numbers. 71.1 overall grade on PFF. That's well above average. PFF had him rated as their 40th best corner out of several hundred eligible players. Obviously, you see that he had an interception last year. Now, fun fact about that interception, that one interception came against the Kansas City Chiefs when they played the Chargers. I believe it was week 3 or 4, and it was the same play in which, if you guys remember, Patrick Mahomes threw an interception and then accidentally took out Rashee Rice for the season on the same play. So kind of a full circle moment here as Kristian Fulton now joins the Kansas City Chiefs. And I mean, again, he's a good player. This is someone that can kind of man that outside cornerback spot. And the reason why I call it the perfect free agent signing for the Kansas City Chiefs is because now that you have another capable cornerback that can play multiple different spots, that can play on the outside, can match up against bigger receivers, this allows you to move Trent McDuffie back into the slot where he's naturally elite. Last year, when the Kansas City Chiefs lost Jalen Watson, they moved Trent McDuffie to the outside to compensate for his loss, and they had that rotating cast of characters at cornerback too with Najee Johnson and Joshua Williams and Keith Taylor, and we saw how that went. The Chiefs defense suffered mightily moving Trent McDuffie out of position, moving Shamari Connor out of position. This is a big move now because this means you can move Trent McDuffie back to the inside, and that's what I love most about it. Outside of the fact that Kristian Fulton's a really good player, you're adding depth to the secondary, a secondary that actually just lost Justin Reed to a 3-year deal to the New Orleans Saints. He's no longer on the Kansas City Chiefs, and I'll probably upload another video on that either later tonight or early tomorrow morning, kind of reacting to that. But the Chiefs needed secondary depth, especially at cornerback. They needed to shore up that cornerback 2 spot. Jalen Watson's kind of still the cornerback to. I think, knowing that he's healthy and everything. But now this time around, if you are to suffer an injury, then you're fine. You're comfortable with Kristian Fulton. This is someone who has kind of proved his worth in the NFL at this point. Was a really good draft prospect in the 2020 draft. Someone that I would have liked to see the Kansas City Chiefs draft back in 2020. Didn't happen. Fell to the second round. Was generally considered, though, a first-round talent at the cornerback position in that draft, coming out of LSU, who we know has produced a plethora of high-quality NFL defensive backs. Kristian Fulton is still immensely talented. Didn't quite live up to the billing his first few years in the NFL, but then signed those short-term deals with the Tennessee Titans and the Los Angeles Chargers. Ended up proving his worth. Kind of broke out this year. Now he's cashing in with the 2-year deal, and that's what I also really love about this signing: the fact that it's a 2-year deal for the Kansas City Chiefs. So this is someone you're going to have for multiple years, which is important for the transition that is likely coming next offseason when Jalen Watson's a free agent, when Trent McDuffie is going to require an extension. He still has the 5th-year option, but he's going to require an extension. Brian Cook is a free agent. Joshua Williams is a free agent. You're going to have a lot of free agents coming up from the last couple of draft classes, but you at least have, a stabilizing presence in Kristian Fulton, who's going to be here for 2 years. I like locking up a quality depth player for multiple years at a really fair price. What I feel like is a really fair price. Cornerbacks, defensive backs have gotten paid this offseason. I think this is a really good value deal. I think this is my favorite signing so far of Kansas City Chiefs free agency, getting a guy like this, man. I'm just so happy to see him on the Kansas City Chiefs. You feel another major need prior to the NFL draft, what I consider to be a major need. I mean, you have now 3 guys that you really like at cornerback. That's a good spot to be in. I'm really liking the way that this cornerback room looks right now with Kristian Fulton. I mean, this is someone that can take on bigger receivers like, A.J. Brown, who the Chiefs struggled to cover in the Super Bowl and struggled to cover at times throughout the regular season. I cannot overstate how important it is that you're now reducing the snap count of Najee Johnson and Joshua Williams, because those guys just were not cutting it last year, especially Najee Johnson. You go back to that Denver Broncos game during the regular season, last game of the regular season, and that defense was full of second and third stringers. And despite that, the Broncos still said, we're going to target Najee Johnson. We see him as the weakest link on that defense. And that told me from there on out, that's not a guy that you can depend on going into next year. Kristian Fulton certainly is, though. I mean, this is a quality depth player at a huge position to need. I thought it was a huge position to need. I'm glad to see the Chiefs attack it, especially with a guy that I liked, that I was publicly asking for. Not that Brett Veach listens to me or anything, but definitely my favorite signing of free agent so far. I think the perfect free agent signing when you consider the need, when you consider the value of the contract that they got him on. This is a good player. I like him a lot. Definitely want to hear from you guys, though, down in the comments below. What are your thoughts on the Kansas City Chiefs bringing in free agent cornerback Kristian Fulton on a 2-year deal? Would love to hear your guys' thoughts. But with all that being said, make sure you like, share, and subscribe so more Chiefs fans can find this. Make sure you check out my work on showmefootball.com, arrowheadaddict.com for more. Last but not least, follow me on Twitter at ShowMeFB. That's all I got for you guys in this one. I'll see you all in the next one. And as always, go Chiefs!